Welcome to the Concentric Home Solution Woodworking channel. In this episode, I will be giving you an overview of my Narex woodworking chisels. I bought these chisels many years ago. At least 7-8 years ago from Lee Valley, but now they are available on Amazon and a few other places. It's a company from the Czech Republic. It's a very well built product for its price. It's very value oriented. I would consider this to be an entry level high end, probably how I would describe it. It's a very well made, well built tool. You have to put a little bit of work into it as far as flattening the back and so forth, but it's not hard to achieve and it's a very good quality tool. This kit came with chisel ranging from 1/4 inch up to 2 inches. As you can see here, this is 1/4 inch. This one is 3/8, and notice they all got blade covers on them. I really like this. The blade covers allow you to hang them. I don't use it in that way. I keep mine in a drawer. So 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, 3/4 inch. This one with no marking on it is a 7/8, and the markings is just printed on because I think I was able to remove that, not intentionally, by using I think alcohol removed it. So it was either, yeah, pretty sure it was alcohol that removed it. 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/2, and 2 inch. Now, when these come, you're gonna have to flatten the back. And what I generally use to do that is a granite slab. Why granite? Because granite slabs are generally mill flat. And this one I bought was made for that application, to be a reference surface. It came with a sheet that tells you how consistent it was. And so it's basically, lack of better words, dead flat. So depending on how bad it is, I will either start on the granite slab with really low grit sandpaper, like 100, 150, or maybe even lower, depending on how bad it is. Or I will start on a diamond stone, like these. I got this idea from an English gentleman by the name of Mr. Paul Sellers a long time ago. The only thing I would do different if I did this today, I would put the stones on separate blocks. Reason being, it gets kind of awkward when you need to, use the middle one from its side, or even the end ones on its side. They're only accessible to you on the end, on the ends. So I would have done this differently. But when you get it, it's not gonna be flat. And it's not gonna be polished. That's the two things you want. To create a sharp edge, you need two flat polished surfaces converging. And that's basically what sharp is. All of these chisels are sharp. My preferred system for sharpening is a sharpening system that I use from Lee Valley. I have a review on that, a video on that I will leave that you can check out. But when it's sharp, I don't know if you can see this, but this is a little tiny curl that just rolled off of that. And every one of these are sharp. I tend to, that's a bigger one right there. I tend to keep them sharp. There are many uses where situation where a chisel comes in handy, where a power tool, I like hand tools. It's not every situation is either convenient or warrants a power tool. This will help you to, get into a space and clean out or make a fine-tune adjustments. That's my main reason for using hand tools. And as I mentioned in a previous video, maintaining a skill. I like maintaining an overall skill. Sharp. I tend to keep them sharp. Let me see if I can wipe this off so you can see the back better. You can see toward the back up here is shiny. It has a little smearing on it, but it's shiny. See that shininess? And you can see the shininess. This one has a compound bevel. Reason for the compound bevel is when I go to resharpen, I don't have to resharpen the whole top. I just have to resharpen the bevel until that shininess disappears. So it makes it quicker to resharpen. I generally keep them all sharp. See? This one is grabbing a little bit, so it might be time for that to start. I don't think so. It's still pretty sharp. I keep a can, another idea I got from Mr. Seller. I keep a can with oil. Camellia oil to be exact. I think is the oil I use. It's a Japanese oil. And this is a European company. Narex it is, obviously made in the Czech Republic. So the tools are generally available in millimeters, but they do offer them in inches, and they're pretty accurate to the inch. The 1/4 inch. Is a 1/4 inch. You can see that there. And that would be true for just about any one of them I pick up. This one is not marked. So. This one is off by 1/64, but it's pretty close. 1 inch is showing 1 1/64. But they're pretty close. Pretty accurate. Check one more. Yeah, must have been the way I was holding that one. But this is 2 inches. The way I abate rust is by oiling them. All of these, it has this oil in it. So you either keep an oil soak rag and you clean them when you're finished with them, wipe them down. And I also, in the drawer, I also keep them covered with oil rag to keep moisture away from the metal surface. Some people don't use machine, they sharpen by hand. I personally not a big fan of it, but to each his own. I mostly use the stones for, as I stated before, flattening the back. After I establish a flat back and a polished back, I use the machine to sharpen my chisels. When it needs a lot of work, as I said, I would use pressure sensitive sandpaper on the granite, and I will go to work with a Sharpie. I'll mark it with a Sharpie and gauge my process. And you don't have to flatten the whole back. You just want to flatten the area. If you're going to use it, depending on what you're using it for. If you're using it for paring, that's when you use a chisel back to reference while you're cutting. So you want to have a pretty flat back. So as much as that area you need is as much as you want to get flat. I generally don't go much further than maybe inch and a half maybe. So it just depends. And as far as the oil, this I mostly use for my planes, but it's a that's it. Keep the covers on it so you don't have an accident, you don't cut yourself. How sharp? I'm pretty sure this could cut hair. Yeah, you can see hair on there, little pieces of hair. So I keep them pretty sharp. Another good way, I mean, it's more gimmicky than anything else. This is more gimmicky than this is more gimmicky than anything else, because even if it doesn't cut this paper, it's still sharp. It will still cut the wood. But a lot of people like to see this. See that? Be careful with sharp blades. Just because something won't cut paper or even not cut wood, that doesn't mean it won't cut flesh. Please understand that. It doesn't take much to cut flesh. Another thing I like to keep around is a ladder block charged with rouge, and not every time you need to run back to the sharpening machine. Sometimes you just need to touch up an edge and rest on top of a surface. You lift the bevel up and then you pull on this, and what it does is polish the bevel, and then you can turn it flat and pull a couple strokes on this and it will polish the back, which will help to maintain a sharp edge. So that's something I recommend that you have. And I actually made this. I made this, and what it is a 3/4 inch piece of MDF. You can see it once was being or was going to be used for something else. You can see the domino holes in it. But what I did is I stick this rubberized backing on it so to keep it stabilized, it doesn't move around, and using spray adhesive and a piece of leather, and that's all it took, and this works excellently. Really like this. Rouge, they're cheap. The chisel you can use when they're well sharpened. They don't really take that much force, or if you're doing something finesse, you could just use your hand force to make cuts. Or you can turn it on a bevel, and you could bring a mallet into play if you choose to. I use it both ways. But if you're looking to get into hand tools and chisels in particular, I highly recommend that you take a look at Narex's line of bench chisels. Thanks for watching, and have a good day. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to be notified when new content is dropped on this channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and drop a comment down below.